Today, this engine is going in this car. This is my RB25 going back into my 1997 Nissan 240SX. And by the end of this video, this engine will be running in that engine bay. Come hell or high water, I will not be stopped. I'm so excited, but we got a lot of work to do. So let's get to it. Go ahead, please. Help! Can you help, dude? It's gonna be interesting to see how much clearance we end up with. All right, now that we got the engine off the stand, it's time to throw on the flywheel and the clutch and pressure plate. So first thing's gonna be the flywheel. And it should fit right on there.
Do you want me to hand you the bolts?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Here. Okay, bolts, please. Here, actually, will you get that out of there and crack it open? Oh, not like that, dude. Out of the package. God almighty, dude. It's crazy.
You had a weird something that will fix it permanently.
Now I've got a real job for you that will help me.
Okay. That was probably got done 25 seconds quicker than it would have otherwise.
You think?
Yeah.
All right, before the clutch goes on, we'll give the flywheel a quick wipe down with some brake cleaner. Put a little bit of grease in the splines. Just a little. Yeah, I've been practicing that. We got a new throwout bearing on there. Now I just got to line this puppy up and bolt it on. Okay, now with the clutch on, flywheel on, everything torqued down, I guess it's time to slide the transmission on, which is a pretty big step. And you could definitely help with this.
Huh? This guy.
Just gotta lift with your back.
Or, you know, have a friend around.
Yeah, if only I had a friend around me. Oh. Yeah, that's probably close to goodish. I think it can do a kickflip.
Yeah.
God, it's nice having help. Okay, that's a little more,
Hey.
What?
What's going on?
This is how it goes.
Try to line it all up and...
And then had AI.
Dude, your beard is almost, it's getting close.
Yeah, dude, it's starting to connect.
Yeah.
Am I getting connection?
You're gonna connect here soon, and down here in like a year or two, probably.
See what's up, dude? About to turn 40 in 3 years, and I'm gonna get a full beard.
Time to get that beard to connect.
I told my aunt I'm gonna retire by 40. So if you guys could please like and subscribe, so I can make that happen, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, it is an exciting time. It's time to put the engine in the car for the first time in a long time. I think it's at a pretty good spot. I'm sure there's a few things that I'll wish I had done while it was out. But to be honest, I'm not even sure that it's gonna fit. I think we might have some oil pan subframe clearance issues. So it's time to find out.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. That's the attitude right there. We're not gonna have any clearance issues.
Kind of falls in a little bit. There we go. Keep going. Come down a hair.
Okay, that's both motor mounts technically attached to both the engine and the car.
Yeah, that's
We are hitting the oil pan. It's not bad. There's not, you know, a whole lot of hitting, but it is enough that I think we need to make a little bit of room on the subframe. I knew this was a possibility. Does it suck? Yes. But that's how it goes. And it's not bad. It's not even bad. That should be just about enough. I hope. Okay, the engine and transmission are in the car. Did we scuff up the valve covers a little bit? Yeah, but so what? It's gonna happen. You're gonna have a couple of scars and scrapes, okay?
What do you mean by we?
Me, okay, whatever you wanna go with. But very exciting. The engine is in the engine bay for the first time in literally years. You gonna take that one off? This is kind of the easy bit. There's a lot of other stuff that needs to happen before this thing can run. We need to connect cooling, we need to connect power steering, we need to connect fuel, we need to do a lot of electrical stuff, which is really what I'm looking forward to the least. I chopped up this wiring harness like 3 years ago and haven't looked at it since. So we got a lot of stuff to figure out. I hope I left some breadcrumbs. But that's gonna be for tomorrow. Fade to black.
Club tonight.
Now that we finally got the engine and transmission in the car, it's time to start plugging all the stuff in. So I'm gonna start with one of the easy things, which is fishing the harness back through the firewall, plugging in all the connectors, and then we'll get to the real fun stuff. I found some evidence of the cats that were living in this car for a while. What the hell? Wow, dude. Okay, and some of the most fun positions to be in, upside down under the dash in a bed of cat piss and I'm having fun, I'm having fun, I'm having fun. This must come out this way, yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is extra fun because I'm in the middle of sort of relocating the fuse box from the engine bay to the trunk. I started that like 3 years ago. Just took everything out of the engine bay, cut the wiring harness, fished a bunch of stuff all over the place, and quit. So it's really fun picking up those pieces and trying to figure out what the hell I was doing. Fuck do you do? So the plan is just to kind of organize this. It looks like most of what matters is still intact. Didn't really have to cut any of the major stuff. I think most of what's cut is sort of front end stuff like lights and turn signals and that kind of thing, which doesn't really matter at all. So that's good news. What do you think about that? Diving in. We got a big time announcement. We are proud to announce that we are officially launching a Patreon.
Yeah, we're calling it our Patreon Pit Crew. We're gonna have all sorts of fun stuff. We're gonna have live streams. We're gonna do a monthly show that we call Shop Talk. It's we talk about stuff on the Discord. We have a little tea time.
Yeah.
We talk about the drama that's going around.
We talk about whatever we want.
Yeah, it's our thing, so we get to do whatever we want.
Hanging with the boys.
We thank you guys so much. The community has been just so kind to us, and we're just super thankful. And you guys are asking for us to do a Patreon to help support us, so we thought that's really nice of you, but we should give back to you guys as well. So we have a lot of fun stuff planned, and you can join it right now by going to www.patreon.com/BigTime.
That's right, and it's only gonna cost you a measly $6.90 a month.
Yeah, nice.
I have no idea how we landed on that number.
Nice.
So not only is this a great way to support us, but it's also a great way to connect with us. We're gonna be in there talking to you guys, checking out your builds, going through the finds that you post, and all the other stuff that you post on the Discord.
Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we love you guys. We got 2 big plaques.
You guys did this.
You guys did it. We just filmed our first episode of Shop Talk. That's already on the Patreon, so if you want to check it out, go over there right now. That's patreon.com/BigTime, or hit the link in the description below.
Yeah, can't wait to see you in the pit. Now, let's get back to the S14.
You got some building to do.
Yeah! Okay, the junk's officially in the trunk, and I just found the missing link. This is the front sub harness that I cut, and all these cut wires match with all these cut wires, which is great news. We're headed in the right path. There's a couple things that I haven't quite figured out yet, but overall, the harness is coming together. This isn't quite as bad as I thought it was gonna be. First thing we're going to work on is coolant plumbing. So we need to get coolant to and from the turbo, and we're going to run it to our nice new wastegate. And if you don't know, a wastegate is basically like a pressure relief valve that lets off excess exhaust pressure, is essentially bypassing the turbo to keep your turbo making a certain amount of boost at the request of your ECU. So the wastegate just lets off extra exhaust so that you stay at, say, 15 PSI. Look at that. What a nice bit of kit. All right, now that we've got the turbo and wastegate situated and we know where the lines need to go to for the coolant, we can start to make them. So first we'll start with coolant feed. We've got coolant feed out on this side of the block. So there's a banjo bolt into that, out to an AN6 adapter, which I will put this on, which is an AN6Y. So we've got AN6 for the turbo and a 4 for the wastegate, and these will feed the turbo and the wastegate. Lovely. Okay. That is the turbo and the wastegate fed full of coolant. Now we need somewhere for them to puke it back out. We're gonna have to make some lines for that, which is just fine because I've got some nice line stuff. So I got a 90-degree AN6 on this end, which is ultimately gonna go to the engine. I've already put an AN6 adapter onto a hard line under the intake manifold, so this will plug right into that. I'll feed this around the back of the engine, and then we can trim it to fit. Okay, so now I just need to trim this dash 6 line, throw a fitting on the end, and plug it into there, and then we'll be all plumbed up. Okay, now that we've got the line trimmed and is nice and clean, we can put our fitting on. These fittings go on really nice from Setrab. This is their line and their fittings, so they go together great. But I've also got these little tools that help them go together even better. These are nice for putting AN lines together of any type. They just help you get the line into the end of the fitting without any fraying. Yeah, and this is my Portal support crew shirt. Shout out to Portal for sending me this, my boy Dylan. They make some real great merch and they stand for good stuff, so go check them out. Buy you a shirt and support them. This just helps you slide it in, get it bottomed out, which is important. AN fittings are great as long as you put them together completely. So we're fully seated in there. Now we just got to get this in here without pushing the hose back out. So an easy way to check that is just put a piece of tape around the edge of the hose where it meets up to the fitting, so you can keep an eye on whether or not that stays there or if a gap forms, which means you've pushed the hose out.
We're not going to do that.
Well, we might do it, but at least we'll know and then we can undo it. Okay, our fitting is fully closed up and we still have no gap between the tape and the fitting, which means we didn't push the hose out, which means this fitting is solid and it can go on the car. Okay, now we've got coolant to the turbo, to the wastegate, and from both of them back to the engine, which is great. That's a big step. So now let's focus on getting oil to the turbo. I think this will be the right length. We shall see. Go up to the dash 4 at the top. Now that we've got oil and coolant plumbed to the turbo and the wastegate, it's time to focus on some fuel. So I've already mounted the fuel pressure regulator here, just whipped up a quick bracket, and we're about to mount the fuel filter, and then we just gotta make some lines. And if it looks like I had a stroke, it's just because I was at the dentist. All right, so we're waiting on a couple fittings so we can finish up our fuel lines, but we know what we need to do, so that's good. So while we wait on those, I think it's time to start routing our oil cooler lines, which means mounting the oil cooler, which means mounting the radiator and the intercooler so we know where everything's gonna sit so that everything fits in the car. So that's gonna be a big step. Let's throw some coolers in. So not only does Tetrab make nice lines and reusable fittings and other sorts of fittings, but what they're really known for is oil coolers. And this one should be pretty sweet. I bought this from them. This is their Super Series, I think they call it. It's a super thick oil cooler that keeps the oil in the cooler for a long time to help it cool down. And it also comes with a ball fan. So this should keep our oil temps very nice, hopefully. Supposed to be on the dyno in 2 days, and I have a lot of stuff left to do, and I don't have my new ECU. I can run the car on the ECU that it's on, but I'm really excited about the new ECU that I'm getting. However, it's not going to be here until Friday night. I'm supposed to be on the dyno Saturday morning. So I don't know if that's going to pan out. So we got a lot of stuff to do today and tomorrow and for the rest of time, but luckily I've got help today.
I'm here. Hello. I've been busy trying to start a little company, which takes a lot of time, but I'm now helping out, doing what best bros do, and that's help work on their buddy's project car. So I got some stuff today that Jobe has asked me to do. I gotta install the shifter. I gotta install the slave cylinder. Is it installed? Good. You're fine. Dude, stop. Okay, we have the Dom mounted in the engine bay here. Here's the sub with our hydraulic line. We're gonna route this all the way down to the transmission, get this thing bled, and then Joey will be able to shift.
Thanks, Jerry.
You sure you got this fork in the right way?
Yeah, what do you mean?
This jack stand's not in a great spot.
Who put it there?
I did.
Oh no!
We'll just leave this like this. Is that cool?
Probably not.
Just let it.
Up to you though, whatever you think.
Okay. What color do you think Joby's used Dom fluid is?
Green.
Black as night. It's okay though. There's so much dirty fluid. I'll get all the bubbles out. Fucking screw is gonna really piss me off. Okay. Okay, push. Okay, release. Push. Okay, release. Push. All right, push. Okay. We are good, dog. Woo! You're bled.
Dude, that's clutch as you guys. All right, that's another sort of temporary mounting solution. Just kind of hose clamped the old catch can into place, which I don't love, but you know, it works. Things held in place pretty securely, and now I know where it's gonna live, so I think it's time to work on the oil lines. So the first thing we gotta do is install this. This is a sandwich plate, goes between the oil filter standoff and the oil filter itself, and gives you 2 ports, an inlet and an outlet to go to and from your oil cooler. It's also got a thermostat in it, so it only opens up and uses your oil cooler once your oil is up to a certain temperature. All right, we have made a bunch of progress today. We got oil cooler done. We've got catch can done. We've got radiator lines. We've got a lot of stuff in place. This thing is getting close to first attempt at fire up. But the next thing I have to do is make some modifications to my downpipe because this turbo's exhaust outlet sits a little bit further forward than my last one. So this downpipe is just a hair too short. Just runs right into not only the exhaust manifold, but also the steering shaft, so that's a problem. So I'm just gonna chop it, add a little length to it, and put it back on, easy peasy, and then I gotta make a dump tube for the wastegate, since I got a new wastegate. So, some cutting, some welding, and then we're really close. so we got the extension piece here attached to the V-band end, so I'm gonna get this together and then we will put the downpipe onto the rest of this. And then the downpipe will hopefully be long enough. All right, we got the extendo on there. Now it's time to see if it fits. I'm hopeful. Oh yeah, baby. Well, we clear both the steering shaft and the exhaust manifold, and I'm sure it'll meet up just fine with the rest of the exhaust. So, one down, now I gotta do the wastegate dump tube. Think about it like that. This clutch pedal doesn't feel great.
So
The postman
got the
is here.
cooling done.
Shut up.
Cooling's done. Piping's done.
The postman's here, and he's got some stuff
and
for
then
me.
we gotta get the thing started, and then we're gonna get the car started tonight.
The key is in these boxes. These just came in from Haltech via my mom. And we've got an ECU and some other bits and bobs in here. So let's open these things up, start installing them. Wow, just a little guy. All right, that's my fuel cell, dude. Yeah, we got a Haltech Elite 2500. This thing should be sick, should be infinitely tunable, and should get this thing up and running nice and healthy. So I'm very excited about that. We got a few sensors in here so we can keep an eye on all the important stuff. We got a plug and play harness. This should go in pretty easy.
Should.
Yeah, dude. Electronic. Where to start? Where to start? Maybe get Kanan putting this gauge in.
Doing something I've never done before. Putting one of these suckers in.
I'm being violated. Raw one. Upside down.
I was like, no.
All right, so now that we've got the ECU plugged in, that was super easy. Now I'm gonna put all the sensors in and get all the pickups for the pressures and the temperatures. And that should be pretty easy. I've got a plan for it all. It's just a bit of doing. And we like doing, right? Right? Okay, I've been out here chasing my tail around, going literally insane. I have slept very little in the past few days and have been extremely mentally fried, but I think I got everything figured out. I was getting an error code on the ECU that it wasn't connecting to the engine control relay, which is what lets it control pretty much everything in the engine. I just thought that that was my fault. Also, you know, the starter wouldn't engage with the key. I thought that was my fault. I thought that was a wiring issue. I mean, it makes sense, right? I just did a bunch of pretty haphazard wiring, so it would make sense that at least something wouldn't work. So I'm chasing that around, going through a bunch of wiring diagrams, can't really find anything wrong until I realized after a bunch of Googling, found some guys talking about this on a Facebook group, that I was just doing stuff wrong in the software, which makes sense. So I fixed that. Now I don't have that error code, and I think the car should start. And then I can sleep. Let's find out. I mean, let's find out, right? It's time.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, listen, we got some cleanup to do. You know, you gotta break a couple eggs. I'm not happy about any of this. I will fix it. As messy as it looks, it should all work right now. It's bad, okay? This is... Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Am I ready? Okay, fuel, gauges, seat. No seat, don't need a seat. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Holy So far, so good. My mind's going a million miles a minute at the moment, but I'm just gonna take it in. I'm gonna stand here, let this thing run for a minute, check the leaks, let the coolant bleed, make sure nothing blows up, let it get warm, let it start to break in. Ah! very satisfying. We are about 1,300 RPMs. We got, okay, alternator's working, that's good. I'm just waiting for something to break or start blowing up. This doesn't seem right. Holy smokes, this thing fired right up and it's running great. Nothing's leaking, nothing's falling off the engine, so I think it's pretty much time to go to the dyno. But before we do, I want to give a couple quick shout outs. First off to Redline JDM Motors, they gave me a smoking deal on this engine almost 2 years ago. And to Haltech for hooking me up with the ECU. Thank you guys for the support, I really appreciate it. And of course, to you guys for being here watching this video. Thank you so much. Now, let's go to the dyno.
Can you guide me hand film?
Mm-hmm. You're good?
Okay, the time is finally upon us. We are at the dyno. We're at Auto Talent down in Hawthorne, California. My man Koji is going to tune the car. Nerves are absolutely through the roof. It's been a long time coming. A lot has gone in to get us to this point, and I am so excited but so nervous for what's about to happen. We're going to throw it on the dyno and see how much power it makes and see whether or not it blows up. I would love to see 400, but I will be happy as long as it stays in one piece. So without further ado, let's do it. Am I sweating? I am quite nervous and the nerves are peaking right now, but there's nothing I can do about it except sit here and watch and hope everything goes well. So it's been a long time coming and I am extremely, extremely excited. Whoa, that worked. I didn't know where we were gonna hit. We just hit. First thing he's gonna do is get the fuel mapping sorted out, get it close, and then start making runs at low boost levels and increasing those boost levels with each run to dial in the specifics of the fuel map and get into ignition timing. So we should hear some noise soon. I think that was a full pull. I think we saw 7,000 RPMs. It made a lot of noise. Sounds like there's a lot going on in that engine, but it all sounds healthy so far. I shouldn't jinx it. I'm not gonna look at the numbers. I'm chilling. I'm cool, dude. What's it say?
At 6,200, making 320 horsepower, 6,200 RPM. So he's got some more headroom there with some RPM. And we're 5,000 RPM, we're about 300 foot-pounds.
Well, it held together for what seemed like the first full pull.
Yeah, you ran it up to 6,000 something, right? Don't, you stay over there, I'm gonna look.
Thanks.
Got to 6,900 RPM, but it's not too much more. Look like 330, 340. I was hoping we'd be at like 405, 400, but this guy literally said, he's like, you're probably gonna make 350, which is, I'm sure that's what he's getting to right now. 350, stock crank. You didn't do anything to the valve train, did you? No, you didn't do anything to the valve train. Go away, go away, go away. Got a higher line. Yeah, almost. We're there. Don't look. 385, 385. We're close.
Yeah, so far so good. I'm doing fine. I've never had an explosion. I've never had an engine the bed, but I've just had a lot of little things that it's like, oh, we got to figure this out. We got to rewire that. Whatever the case is, work. So, that said, I'm never not going to expect the actual worst case scenario, which is an explosion. Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
Which it said it was working?
Yeah, it was at 10%.
Okay, let me know.
I thought you said this thing had a cutoff.
Well, it's up to him. He's the cutoff. He's in charge of everything. Okay, another pull. Not sure if the boost is still creeping. All I know is it's still running. Okay, well the car is running good. It's, you know, making good power, but we are, we've got boost creep happening. And, you know, that can happen for a couple of reasons. In this case, it seems like we are making too much exhaust and it can't all flow out the wastegate. While we might need to modify the wastegate setup a little bit, that's just fine. It just gives us more stuff to do, more content to make. So, torque, let's see, 308 foot-pounds, so not bad. It's 381.81 horsepower.
It didn't blow up, let's go!
Yeah. All right, it's been a very eventful day and my nerves are finally coming down from outer space. So I want to get this car off the dyno and go see how it drives, finally.
Let's go get spinned.